Welcome to Clothesline Theatre. We have been waiting for you to tune in to hear tales of Prince Edward Island, a place of history and some mystery. You may be surprised by the true stories that have been unearthed and brought to life by our radio dramas. We invite you to settle into a comfortable chair and let the voices and sounds trigger your imagination as you hear the following dramatic story.
A person's wedding day is one of the most special and memorable occasions of his or her life. Hours of time and immeasurable energy goes into the planning and execution of that perfect day. In the province of Prince Edward Island in the 1800s, most weddings were celebrated in the home of the bride's parents. Depending on the status and financial circumstances, the tying of the marriage knot could be a very simple or a very elaborate occasion. Let us attend a wedding that happened in Summerside in late January of 1895.
Oh, Carrie, it's a beautiful day. There isn't a cloud in the sky, and see how the sun sparkles on the snow? It's a perfect January day.
You're right. It's an ideal day for a wedding. Imagine, by this time tonight, you, Bessie Stavert, will be married to my brother, Jarvis Tanton.
And we will be sisters as well as best friends. I'm so excited, and I'm so nervous. Me, a married woman, Mrs. Jarvis Tanton. What a way to start 1895.
I, too, am in high spirits. Not only am I going to get to wear a beautiful wedding costume today as your maid of honor, but I will get to stand beside you in your beautiful wedding dress and gaze across at Jarvis's attendant, Mr. William Waugh. Maybe I can make him blush if I wink at him.
Oh, behave yourself just for today, Carrie. This day belongs to Jarvis and me, and I want to write up in the newspaper to speak of nothing but the perfection of our wedding day. Father and Mother have spared nothing to make this a special day for both our guests and for us.
On this matter, Bessie was correct. Mr. and Mrs. George Stavert had invited approximately 100 guests to their home to the east of Summerside to witness the marriage of their daughter on that Tuesday evening in late January 1895. The house had been cleaned from top to bottom and finely decorated, and the supper, which was served following the wedding ceremony conducted by the Reverend E.M. Dill, was described by the Island Farmer newspaper as one that would have done honor to the table of the party in Holy Writ, who fared sumptuously every day. The very numerous wedding gifts, of which some were quite valuable, were opened and put on display, and guests were happily milling about, wishing the young couple many happy years of wedded bliss, when the sound of pots and pans being banged together caused a sense of unease.
Oh, George, that can't be what I think it is.
No doubt it is the usual motley crowd from Summerside intent on a charivari. I suppose it was too much to hope they would leave us alone.
Now, the charivari dates back over 700 years as a French folk custom in which the community gave a noisy serenade to newlyweds. Over time, as it spread across Europe, it became a way for a community to enforce its social code of acceptable behavior. People who entered into what were known as unnatural marriages, such as an older widower and a much younger woman, or remarried too early after the death of a spouse, would find themselves being set upon by chevaliers, as did adulterers, wife-beaters, and unwed mothers. Often the humiliation brought about by chivalry drove people out of a community and even led to suicide. But as the tradition made its way to North America, it became less punitive and often more about having a good time and disrupting or delaying the sexual activity of the newlyweds. The extent of the activity often depended on the standing of the family in the community.
Hopefully they just want a little innocent fun and to wish Bessie and Jarvis the best. At least there are plenty of sandwiches and sweets to pass out. Maybe they will be content to just bang their pots and pans and accept some food and drink.
No doubt they already have plenty of drink in them. Good God! They smashed out the bay window. I think the hope of just accepting sandwiches and drink is gone.
Oh no! George! They're tearing off paling and doing damage to our veranda. Do something!
Daddy! Daddy, what's happening?
They've just come to chivalry the newly married couple, my dear. Play along and don't show them any fear.
They're playing rough, Mr. Stafford. What are we going to do?
Just try to keep things as calm as possible, Jarvis. There will be damage, but if we get angry and try to put a stop to their fun, things will be much worse.
Let's get the food outside to them.
Too late for that, Mother.
Okay, let me go. Good evening, folks. We'd like to join your celebration and wish the newlyweds all the best in wedded bliss.
Where might we find food and drink?
If you just give me a moment, I will have sandwiches and sweets served to you.
Never mind the serving, we'll just help ourselves. Yum. Good roast beef sandwiches. Got any fresh coffee and tea?
Oh, well, now spirits would be better. There is some new you're having here now, tonight. Too bad you didn't see fit to invite us.
It makes no difference. We're here now. It's a bit crowded, though.
Oh, but that's merry, baby.
Indeed it was. With a large crowd of chevaliers added to the 100 guests already in the house, there was barely room to move, and the house was disagreeably full of people.
Get off my foot, you hooligan!
Where's me own
I'm
foot,
sure
too?
I know who you are behind that mask.
I don't think you do.
I'll be having a talk with your father.
Now, pucker up, sweetie. I'll plant a big kiss on ya.
How dare you? Do you know who I am?
I believe you're the judge's wife.
Get away from my missus right this minute. The next time you're in my court, you'll get more than you bargained for.
Yes, we usually do.
Mr. Stafford, can the floor support the weight of all these people?
I can only pray that they do, son. The house was built with the best of Virgin Island lumber. The beams holding her up are equal in size to the masts of some of the best wooden sailing ships launched from the Summerside Park.
Nothing like a special occasion to justify blowing off a bit of steam.
There is no need to break the window. You could get 7 years bad luck.
7 years bad luck. That's for a mirror, you dope. Anyway, old Stafford's good for it. If not, Canton can help him out. The descendants of the United Empire Loyalists who got free land grants for being loyal to the King of England are doing a lot better than us descendants of those who came as tenants. Now, those people ended up having to pay for the land that they had already farmed for many, many years.
Here, have another sandwich and try these squares. They are just the best.
Don't mind if I do. You really know how to throw a party, Mrs. Stafford.
All this noise is giving me a headache.
What else is new? Come on, it's time to leave. They've shown us hospitality, and we have disrupted things enough.
Okay, let's go through the back kitchen. Oh, let's get it.
My, what have we here? It's all the fancy sleigh robes and cushions from those that drove to the wedding.
Well, looky here. Just happens to be a 5-gallon can of kerosene. How did that kerosene manage to spill on those robes and cushions?
Let's get out of here. This is not what a chivalry is about.
Well, let's dip the sleighs over before we go and steal their horsewhips. That'll give them something to think about.
Our perfect wedding day has been ruined, Jarvis.
Oh, our wedding was perfect, Bessie. The party just got a little rough. But that's okay. Our marriage is going to be great.
Our house, George, our house. It's a disgrace that people do these things. How could they?
A bit of cleaning and it'll be all right. I'm pretty sure I figured out the ringleader. I believe they have a family wedding in the spring. Hope you're looking forward to going to a charivari, missus.
You can count on it, George.
While the newspaper, The Island Farmer, carried a glowing article on the Stafford-Tanton wedding, it published a separate piece on the same page about the censurable proceedings of the charivari and gave considerable detail of the damage carried out. The article concluded with the statement, "If chevaliers act simply as good-natured buffoons, they can be tolerated. But such disgraceful and willfully vicious conduct deserves the reprehension of the entire community, and means should be taken by the aid of the law to repress these demonstrations." The custom of the chivalry went on well into the 20th century in Prince Edward Island. An occasional one might even happen to this day. Chivalry Gone Wrong, presented by Wyatt Heritage Properties Incorporated. Narrator, Stuart Smith. Bessie Stavert, Leslie Noonan. Carrie Tanton, Sarah McIntyre. Mrs. Stavert, Karen Slater. George Stavert, Albert Goody. Jarvis Tanton, Jordan Stetson. Chevalier 1, Wayne Wright. Chevalier 2, Brent Slater. Chevalier 3, female, Catherine Dixon. Female guest 1, Charmaine Camo. Female guest 2, Elizabeth Randolph. Chevalier 4, Greg Weeks. Judge, Wayne Murphy. Male guest, Paul McWilliams. Introduction, Lowell Eustis. Musician, Christine Anderson Gallant. Foley's, Alexandra Gallant, Nathan Wiley, Krista Bryson. Recording artist, Peter Gallant. Scripts written by Marlene Campbell. Scripts researched by Jean McKay. This program has been supported by the Building Communities Through Arts and Heritage Program, Department of Canadian Heritage.